Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rukus Reactions. I'm Joshua Blaylock of Rukus Games, and today I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter preview for Sword of the Stars Control. Just a little disclaimer before I get started. This is a Kickstarter game that's going up on August 16th, and while I did receive a physical copy, I will be using a number of digital assets, and any of these assets could be upgraded during the course of the Kickstarter. It contains 6 suits of numbered cards representing alien armies that are used to control each of the 6 planets. In addition to the suit cards, there are also special operations cards, which give you a number of espionage, sabotage, and defensive options. Throughout the course of the game, players will gain and lose control over various planets over and over, but the goal at the end of the game is not just to have the most planets, but actually to have the planetary system with the most population. So a player could technically win with fewer planets than another player if each of the planets that they have has a high enough population. This game is a bit different than what I expected it to be when I first opened it up. At first it feels kind of like you're almost going to be playing a trick-taking game, but with the aspect of all of the planets being in the middle of the board and you having to lay down cards to take over the planets, and at first it starts out, it's kind of more of a peaceful, okay, well I'm going to try to get a couple planets before you get a couple planets and that sort of thing, but then it gets to the point where once everything's been taken or someone doesn't have what they need to take whatever's left there, but they maybe have what they need to take what this player has over here, then people start battling back and forth for taking things. And there are a few spec ops cards that allow you to do some kind of mean things to your opponents as well. And it really starts to turn into not quite a take that kind of a game, but it's definitely very competitive, because by about a quarter or half of the way through any given campaign, there's not really any way for you to improve what you're doing other than just taking things from other people. But there's some interesting strategies that can come into this, because the fact is it's not really about having the most planets, it's about having the most population. And the only way to increase the population of a planet, aside from a couple of random spec ops cards that you may pull, is to take planets from other people. So you really want to start out by putting the lowest thing you can on a planet, more or less. Maybe you want to put a high number to make it harder for someone to steal it from you. But maybe you want to put a low number and actually you want people to steal it from you, because maybe you're going to build up a strategy that's based on someone stealing your planet from you and then you stealing it back, because if they take your planet with the one card you placed on there, then population goes up by 1. And when you take it back, your population goes up again by however many army cards that they had on the planet whenever you took it back from them. So passing the cards around increases and increases and increases the population. Of course, there are some cards you got to watch out for, like the nuke card, which completely destroys all of your population and makes you start all the way over from scratch. I really enjoyed this competitive aspect, and as well as how you handle taking the cards and having to figure out the best way to take cards and not really be just helping your opponent, using as few cards as possible whenever you take them, but trying to take them from other people whenever they have a lot. You could hold off and not take a card that you know you can take, and to see if players are going to keep taking them back and forth, and maybe you've built up a nice hand of that one color and then the population is really, really high. But of course, doing that sort of thing is a risk, because there's a possibility someone might just decide to nuke it before you get a chance to get it, and then it's not really going to be worth nearly as much to you anymore. The fact that this game goes through multiple rounds, you can set it up to where you have a certain score that you're supposed to be reaching, and the first person to reach that score, or any number of rounds, the default being 3, but they say in the rulebook that you can predetermine any number of rounds that you want to, maybe even play one and done. That really helps with the, maybe you didn't do that very good that first round, but maybe you're getting better as you play, and there is definitely an opportunity for you to move up from the back and be able to potentially even win the game overall. It also, since you actually have that ability to go after somebody specifically, be like, okay, well, I want the planets that this person has. I want to make sure that this person doesn't have as many planets. It gives you that opportunity with the multiple rounds to say, okay, well, that person won by quite a bit on the last one, so we really want to kind of maybe even team up and kind of make sure that they're not going to get very many points on this round, so that they can kind of go down and maybe somebody else will be able to jump up ahead of them in the overall score. This is a really fun game, but only if you really like competitive games. If you're not into competitive games, then this might not be for you. I know my daughter got pretty mad whenever I wound up taking all of her planets from her at one point, and she did have a little difficulty recovering from that. But if you are into competitive games where you're taking stuff from people and with a little bit of a take that kind of an aspect to it, then this is definitely a very good, very competitive game.